Hey guys, welcome back to Mondays at the Museum. I'm Carrie and I'm here at the Anna Bemis Palmer Museum in York, Nebraska. So, yesterday, February 4th, 2024, was the 125th anniversary to the start of the Philippine-American War. If you haven't yet watched our videos on the 51st Iowa or Company A 1st Nebraska, I would totally recommend, especially that Company A 1st Nebraska. You can learn how a guy from Beatrice actually started the whole Philippine-American War. All his fault entirely. But actually, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about Civil War stories. So, I'm learning as I go, right? And one thing that I have learned is that history is often forgotten, and it's part of my job to not only remind people of that history, but also to celebrate it. Recently, we had a gentleman come in, and he was disappointed because his family member who had served in the Civil War was not part of our Civil War display. Looking at our files, the photos that we have were taken in the 1920s, and he had passed in 1901. Still, though, each soldier who fought deserves to be recognized. So, today I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, as well as our campaign to recognize other soldiers like him. And if this is hitting close to home and you have an ancestor who served who you think deserves extra recognition, I'm going to tell you how you can help us to participate in these stories. So, Oliver Crowder was his name. Oliver was born in Hamilton County in Ohio on January 10, 1847, to Richard and Mary Crowder. He enlisted as a private in the Union Army. He was part of Company K of the 47th Illinois Volunteer Infantry, and he enlisted on September 17, 1861. Then he was discharged October 12, 1864. This unit, the 47th Illinois, was originally organized in Peoria, Illinois on August 16, 1861, but they moved several places after that and were attached to all sorts of different units. They actually took part in the capture of Tiptonville, the Siege of Corinth, the Battle of Iuka, the Siege of Vicksburg, the Red River Campaign, the Battle of Pleasant Hill, and many others. Several men that were part of this unit were discharged in Springfield in October of 1864, Oliver included. But the rest of them were reorganized and then later mustered out January 21st, 1866. Oliver himself joined the Grand Army of the Republic after the war, and he also farmed in York County. He married Parmelia, who went by Amelia Anderson, on March 7th, 1873, in the home of her parents, John and Marianne Anderson. And unique tie there, the Anderson family is actually known as being the first to homestead in all of York County, the first ever. So, a really unique tie. I can definitely tell you they will be mentioned in a future episode when we talk more about the history of York County, so stay tuned for that. Oliver and Amelia actually had their own homestead. They received their deed to homestead on April 1st, 1875. They had 12 children, count them 12. Oliver died on May 22nd, 1901, and he's buried in Blue Valley Cemetery in McCool Junction. Amelia is buried next to him, but her grave is unmarked. So, that is just a piece of Oliver's life story, but we wanted to make sure to tell it because he is a soldier and he deserves to be recognized. And speaking of that, we have started posting to our social media every day different Civil War stories, and they include info such as this, as well as any photos or stories that we can find. So, now your part. Do you have an ancestor who fought, and are you willing to share their story? If so, we'd love to hear about them. So please, if you're willing, reach out to us via social media, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and let us know name, info, stories. If you have any photos, feel free to share them, and we will happily post them on our social media. We're hoping to do this through the duration of February, so you have plenty of time to get us that information. And just a quick reminder, February 17th at 1 p.m., we're hosting the 1st Nebraska Volunteers Brass Band at the City Auditorium. They are Civil War reenactors, and it's a band. They wear Union infantry uniforms, and they play Civil War music on Civil War era instruments, and we're super pumped to collaborate with them on this event. So, come out and support them. February 17th, 1 p.m., and we'll see you next week for our next episode.